Quins players march onto the pitch, given a guard of honor by their second string side, who just won the Division 2 title a few moments ago. Of course, we do expect them to line up for the Quins anthem, and they do that. So let's just take a moment to give the due respect to Quins as they break out in the club anthem.
Which queen, the queen cake or the royal queen?
The Kenya Harlequin Football Club, located at the RFUEA Grounds.
They are weak, but Quins are mighty. Land us safe for victory's side. Quins are sure, strong, superior. Quins and they want no more. Quins and they want no more.
In your picture there, you could definitely state that Frank Wanyama is one of the new converts Kenya Harlequins. Had his mouth agape, not too certain whether he was expecting fireflies to walk into his mouth, had absolutely no idea of the anthem, but doesn't matter. He's been a Kenya Harlequin player for the last 2 Sevens tournaments, the Zuku Sevens tournament a month ago, and the first of the National Sevens circuit, the Christie Sevens. And I can tell you, the anthem doesn't amount to anything. It's a passion and pure level of physical attributes and sporting event and talent shown on the pitch that will matter.
Remember, the final will be 10 minutes each way. This is the cup final at the Christie Sevens, the opening round of the National Sevens Series, coming to you live on Zuku Sports. You can feel the tension in the stands.
It's very palpable. I'm certain that the crowd is definitely feeling it as well. Eden Aguero with the kickoff. Ken Mosetti retrieving it. Brian Owondi, one of the outstanding players for KCB, retrieving the ball. Does not release it, and Kenya Harlequins do get the penalty. William Baka has been definitely a very dominant force in the breakdown and does it once more, gaining a very invaluable penalty for Kenya Harlequins.
And they opt to play it. That is Max Lowry. Patrice Agunda just let down, handling error. You could see his face just breaking into an expression of disbelief.
It definitely shows that if you go around and do a pedicure and a manicure the night before a rugby match, it'll definitely show the fingers looking a bit butter-like. Patrice Agunda being guilty there of just letting the ball move on through. Not too happy. Kenya Harlequins captain, a former player for the Kenya 15th team and a Kenya Sevens international.
True indeed, and probably just a reflection of the tension early on, as the two scrum halves there wait for Victor Odro, the center referee, to set the scrum. Ken Mosetti with the put-in for KCB. Retrieves it. Boots the ball away. There's no one home for Quins. This is Afau Cheng on the chase. Ball retrieved by Philip Omai under the attentions from the Quins defenders. Omai looking to free himself from that spot of bother. It's still KCB. Ken Mosetti in the pass, but retrieved by Patrice Agunda. This is William Mawira now for Quins. Mawira fancies himself, taking on the KCB defenders. This is a good spell of possession for the Quins. Max Leary just loses out. Andrew Amonde now in possession for the Bankers. Brian Omondi, as a referee, Victor Odro just urges the team to play on. Stafford Abeka cleaning up there under the attentions of William Mawira. He was isolated for a moment. Once again, Victor Odro, the referee, just urging the teams to keep playing. KCB in possession, looking to build up. Andrew Amonde. This is Brian Omondi under the attentions of Max Theuri. Game has been fluid thus far, Hillary.
Because Brian Omondi has been one of the outstanding players for the KCB team, the defending 7th circuit champions. Has not done a single mistake, doing very well to just keep his team in the play. Kenya Harlequins, of course, will be buoyed not only by the fact that they have the adrenaline pegged on the fact that the home team but also on the fact that they have a couple of more experienced players like William Baka, Patrice Agunda in play, and of course Francis Wanyama has been a revelation since his move from Strathmore University.
True indeed, Frank Wanyama seen a lot more playing time thus far at Kenya Harlequin. The former Kenya under-19 international, one of those players who you feel is yet to reach his potential, and when he does, he will be someone we'll be talking about for a long, long time.
Kenya Harlequins with a chance to just skew the ball and punt it off from deep in their territory. Kevin Keegan does well, pushes it all the way to the 10-meter line, and Kenya Harlequin should have a line out put in from a very advantageous position. In your picture, the KCB captain, Philip Omai, being propped by the Kenya Sevens captain, Andrew Amonde. Reducing the numbers in the line-out, trying to find out a couple more players in the defense. Wamai looking at his Kenya Harlequins counterpart. Ball has been popped to KCB. Salamba, Tumoseti, Omondi, Kilonzo, easily handled by William Mawira. Kilonzo does well, retains the ball possession. Moseti, Salamba, Abeka. Abeka decides to just have a go at the defense. Retains the ball. Looks like Abeka spilled the ball, or rather held it in, so that should be a penalty for Kenya Harlequins. Eden Aguero will be one of the happier men. Quickly punts it down, and Abeka will not be too happy with himself losing the ball in the possession on the contact.
And you could see as Abeka went into contact, Patrice Agunda was there to just make things difficult and force Abeka into the error.
Once again, Andrew Monde electing to utilize Filippo Mai as the only lineup jumper. In your picture, Max Theory has been an outstanding player for the Kenya Harlequins. The scrum half has barely made a mistake. This time he does, throwing the ball over the top, but it will be called back. KCB looked to have closed in onto the lineup before it was thrown in. Kenya Harlequins with a chance at a try, and William Mawira should not make a mistake. Try good for Kenya Harlequins. Neat pass from William Baka. William Mawira returns the favor. Kenya Harlequins 5, KCB 0. Eden Aguero with the conversion attempt for Kenya Harlequins. Aguero, who's been utilized sparingly, did come off a string of injuries that kept him off the national team setup for the past 18 or so months. Looks to be coming back very strongly and would be putting up his hands. Would be definitely one of the players putting up their hands for inclusion back in the team. Aguero hits a conversion. Conversion is good, and Aguero is good with Kenya Harlequin 7, KCB 0. Man in a picture converting, Eden Aguero. Aguero with the restart, kicking it deep, putting it way past the 5-meter line, and that should be a very advantageous line out deep within the KCB territory.
Quins playing with intent and playing very intelligent rugby at the moment, ensuring that KCB are on the back foot, because we've seen what KCB can do when they are in possession.
I think it would be a case, Mike, of intelligent rugby versus ruthless rugby. Kenya Harlequins playing very ruthless rugby, trying to score points at every opportunity that they have the ball. Filippo Mai picking the ball from the line out. Did not look like it went straight, so that should be a scrum putty for Kenya Harlequins deep within KCB territory, and you get a feeling that KCB may be getting jitters within the system, Mike.
Indeed, and it'll take a lot of composure for them not to crumble in the match. We still have about 3 minutes in the first half remaining. Quins asking all the questions of KCB at this point in time, as you just see Max Deuri holding onto the ball, waiting for Victor Odor to finish issuing his instructions to both sets of forwards.
Victor Odor with a heavily bandaged right knee. Almost looks like it's a script for an examination if you look at his knee.
It almost looks like the Batman symbol. Really.
Yes. Puts the ball in, counter shove, massive counter shove from KCB, and that will be a penalty. KCB done extremely well to ensure that they could thwart that challenge. Stafford Abeka in your picture, not too happy with himself. Edwin Salamba retrieving the ball for Kenya Commercial Bank, and definitely expect Mike that should be a deep thump to Netherlands deep down.
So Ken Mosetti is going to boot this ball deep into Quins territory as he attempts to look for touch. It is retrieved, but at the halfway line, Max Daly was back home covering. KCB retained possession for the line of throw.
Although the match referee with pink socks has a level of confidence, if not a level of self-awareness. You don't get very many referees putting on pink stockings, a white shirt, and a shirt that has an inkling of what you term a happy person.
True indeed, and I once heard a phrase that said, real men wear pink.
In that case, I'm really not a real man, I'm just an African man.
Ken Mosetti just backing out to his players before getting this line out through going. Philip Wamai retrieves it.
You could have almost thought that Wamai was keen on just trying to break off, realized that the defense line was formed, went in for the ruck. Ken Mosetti with the jinking ground. Salamba, Omondi just jumped by like he probably had a premonition of sorts. Didn't do anything much. KCB somehow managed to retain the possession. Omondi this time looking a little bit more convincing. Struggle the first defender. Thumping tackle from Agero. Kilonzo spots a gap, takes it on through Patrice Agunda. Dipping down, Omondi again with the ball. Very industrious Omondi. Ball goes behind Stafford Abeka. Should have done better. Thumping hit from Frank Wanyama. Of course, Wanyama in Swahili means of the animal, so looks like it's very animalistic. Andrew Omondi with his first touch of the ball. Philip Wamai. This is a very physical game, Mike.
Yes, it is. As the scores remain 7-0, KCB in possession. This is Edwin Salamba just looking to create something there, but his pass once again wayward. Ken Mosetti under the attentions of Eden Agero. Could see William Baka just stopping his progress, but KCB recycled the ball. This is Stafford Abeka. He spots the gap, but he doesn't have anyone running in support.
Abeka does well, realizes that he does not have numbers, goes down, and Kenya Harlequins just have a momentary level of lapse. KCB having the penalty. The stalwart, Andrew Omondi, taking the ball up. Brian Omondi just throwing himself there like a spear, retaining the possession. Doesn't look to have been done fairly. Eden Agero left sprawled, perhaps like one of the African leaders. That's Max Sere, I beg your pardon. Looked like an African leader after an election result announcement.
Indeed, there seemed to have been a collision between Peter Kilonzo and Max Deuri, both players receiving attention from their medical teams. Now picture there is, that was Peter Kilonzo. Remember the first half, we still have about 28 seconds to play. And KCB losing possession, handling error. And that is it, halftime score, Quins 7, KCB 0. William Mawira's try and Eden Agero's conversion, the difference for the two sides. Hillary, your take on the first half very quickly.
Kenya Harlequins just imposing their home ground advantage, doing very well, though Kenya Commercial Bank may not have a chance or any score on the board, but you got to feel like this is not yet done. We'll listen to the halftime chit-chat, but by a country mile, this is definitely still poised to take off for the next 10 minutes.
In. Out. Coach. Easy.
Guys, mnafilaje kwa mwili? Sawa. Mko sawa? Hewa iko aje? Okay, kitu ya kwanza tunajiput under a lot of pressure by kucheza hiyo contact. Abeka simple, uko na wheels nje, uko na wheels, Wamai yako nje. Niliwaambia stick to game plan. Brayo. Sasa zile pia ulikuwa na Wamai nje yako. Imagine uko na Wamai nje yako na ukadecide kubeba. Patiana. The only way tutatesa ase The only way Tetesa say ni buy kuwachezea kwa ages. Wacha wakina Willy. Sikiza. Sikiza. The only way tunaweza Tetesa say ni buy kutesa akina Patrice na akina Willy. Amta watesa kama wanamka hapa wana make tackle next hapo. Wa shifti ni wide. Guys. Sikia. Hakuna crisis. Rudi back to yourselves. Chezeni vile mnajua kucheza. Sawa?
Ingia, guys. Sikiza. Salamba, ingia. Chana camera. Guys.
As you just see the teams
the more on a slow ball down,
huddled together after receiving advice from their coaches. KCB huddling there in prayer, same as Quins.
My poetic literature teacher would probably say that KCB look green with envy.
So the second half yet to come. We'll have 10 minutes of the second half. Quins leading KCB by 7 points to 0. William Mawira's try, Eden Aguero's conversion separating Quins from the bankers. And should the score remain like this, you can only imagine the chants, the celebrations that will be there in the Quins clubhouse later on tonight.
Certain that KCB will just have a late surge. They have definitely not been one of those teams to rule out. And with 10 minutes and the level of personnel that they have, they should be able to get something. But not with a kickoff like that.
Definitely not.
Eric Shikuku with the ball for Kenya Harlequins for the half penalty from the kickoff. Shikuku taking his time. Has William Mbaka off his left shoulder, does not deal. Mbaka using his physical dominance in the breakdown, and he has used it to great effect in this tournament.
Yes, he has. He has been very effective for Quins at the breakdown. As Johnston Mungao just shepherded into touch and into the advertising hoarding by Andrew Amonde and Stafford Abeka.
Abeka has been seen in bits and pieces for the Kenya Commercial Bank. Not as convincing as he was for the national 15th team, the player who previously turned out for Mombasa Sports Club, having made his maiden appearance for the Kenya A team in the Elgon Cup a couple of weeks ago.
Philip Omai retrieves that ball from the line out. But referee Victor Odor had spotted an infringement. And the advantage goes to Quins.
See in the background there, parent holding his son. Son was walking with the balloon, and just some level of safe parenting there. Actually, that is Edin Bugo, a former machine hooker, who held his son in the nick of time, just anticipating a thump.
Delivery from Sukuku. This is William Mbaka. Mbaka goes down under the challenge from Brian Omondi. Eden Aguero just recycling play there for Quins.
Brian Omondi has been very dynamic. Takes a tackle, stands up. Always becomes very hard to defeat a team that has play, can move up. Great tackle by Kenya Harlequin. That was definitely quite inspired by Frank Wanyama. He's very well to get to the first match. The picture there, Kenya Harlequin Sevens coach, Victor Sudi, absolutely loving it rather. Former Kenya Sevens coach himself knows exactly what that means to his team.
Actually, former Kenya Sevens captain, Victor Sudi, the current Quins Sevens coach. The conversion attempt is unsuccessful. The score remains Kenya Harlequin 12, KCB 0. Remember, this is the cup final of the Christie Sevens, the opening round of the National 7 Series. As we just get to look at that, we missed the shot where Frank Wanyama just took on Ken Museti, or was it Edwin Salamba, offloaded to Johnston Mungao, who made no mistake. And Hillary, very quickly, Johnston Mungao is the younger brother of Kenya 15's international, Dennis Mahal.
Because the resemblance is quite uncanny. They probably thought that was Dennis Mwangi in his younger years, save for the long hair. But now, doing very well and just trying to establish himself, not living in his brother's shadow. Stafford Abeka looks to have left the field of play for KCB, having already played 14 minutes of this game. KCB, 2 scores down, have to get some level of inspiration. Victor Dor, the referee, calling for the scrum down, deep within KCB territory.
Those are highlights from early on, that moment when Patrice Agunda could not believe that his hands had let him down.
Not too certain who advised him to add a manicure and a pedicure before Rugby Sevens tournament. May have absolutely loved the design on his nails, but that means nothing in a rugby match. Because the KCB have tried as much as they could, but Kenya Harlequins have just tied off all the knots to ensure that nothing comes off the better. Mungao in your picture moments ago with the try.
I really just feel as though Quins tightening the stranglehold on this match. They have really snuffed the life out of the bunkers. And they've actually kept it simple, nothing fancy from them.
This looks to have been an easier match for Kenya Harlequins compared to the Nondi's match in the semi-final. Advantage for Kenya. Arthur Ocheng, formerly a Kenya Harlequins player, is trying to show the Kenya Harlequins faithful what they have missed out. Ball pops out, easily picked up by Kenya Harlequins. Patrice Agunda, as William Mawira looks to be sauntering, and that should be the third try surely for Kenya Harlequins. Arthur Ocheng perhaps forgot that he had changed colors and looked like he just gave the ball to William Mawira to saunter all the way deep into the try line.
Indeed, William Mawira striking his brace there. It was quite competitive at the breakdown. The ball was in open play. Referee Victor Odor was not going to interfere in that play. Mawira spotting the loose ball and just racing clear as we see the Quins fans breaking out in celebration. There's the try scorer, William Mawira, his second try on the day.
Less than 5 minutes left on the clock, and Kenya Harlequins with 3 tries and a conversion pending from Kevin Keegan. Mike, you get a feeling that this may probably have been the fat lady singing. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. The big boned lady singing.
Kevin Keegan is all concentration. The kick has the height and it has the distance. The conversion is good. Quins 19, KCB 0. We have about 4 minutes to play. And Hillary, do you think this game is signed, sealed, and delivered for Quins?
I tried to be objective. I tried to be very analytical, but I absolutely see no way that Kenya Harlequins would be able to lose this game. Save perhaps maybe an earthquake or a flood that will probably come onto the pitch and just flow the players off. Kenya Harlequins have scored 3 tries, have done very well retaining the ball, starving KCB, the defending National 7 Circuit champions, off the ball, and definitely deservedly in the lead, 19 points the better.
The ball was in open play. And just looking at it with about 4 minutes to play, what do you think that Quins should do? What do you think KCB should do going into the final 4 or so minutes of the match?
You already have 3 tries up the board. You've got less than 4 minutes. Simply play territorial rugby, try and force the pressure, get any mistake, capitalize on it, and that should be able to just get Quins to the diadem of lifting the trophy. Filippo Mai for KCB with the ball. KCB come deep within their territory, retaining the ball, but looks like Kenya Harlequins would have been able to hold this up. KCB drive the ball on, nothing comes out. This should be a scrum putty for Kenya Harlequins. Whistle eventually blows, and this should be a scrum put in Kenya Harlequins. Hard work there by Patrice Agunda. You can see definitely putting a lot of air in it. Not an easy thing to do. Frank Wanyama in your picture, very, very promising for Kenya Harlequins. Has been one of the outstanding players in this tournament, Kenya Harlequins. It would be good to see just how well he fares in the ensuing tournaments. And we just get to hope, Mike, that he's not a one-hit wonder.
True indeed, but you just feel that under the guidance of Victor Sudi, Sidney Obonyo and Charles Cardovillis on that Quins technical bench, that there's a lot of expertise to guide these young players to mold them into potent forces throughout the series and even for the future. 19-0, about 1 minute 55 seconds to play. Kenya Harlequin leading KCB in the Christie Sevens Cup final. It's a bit scrappy from that scrum down.
Knock on off the scrum, so KCB will have scrum put in, and with less than 2 minutes on the clock, Mike, it is safe to declare, and I dare so, that Kenya Harlequins are the 2015 champions of the 51st Christie Sevens tournament. You absolutely do not expect anything untoward in 90 seconds. Not enough time to score 3 converted tries. Kenya Harlequins should be the tournament champions this year.
Yes, indeed, and I can't help myself, but they have made a withdrawal from the KCB account.
KCB will probably have to just go around and rethink their entire game plan. They have, on the occasion that they played well, buoyed themselves and looked extremely imperious, but they've been exposed on a couple of errors, especially within the lineouts and the contact faces. And 6 days, I beg your pardon, to the Kisumu Dala Sevens tournament. They should be able to just dig deep within their machinery angle, understand what they can improve, and see if at all they can pick themselves up. Less than a minute on the clock. Surely Kenya Harlequins are the winners of the 2015 edition.
That's Arthur Ocheng at scrum half for KCB. This is Benjamin Ojema. Philip Omai finds himself on the wing. We don't expect him to turn on the afterburners.
He's definitely not one of the fastest players, but one of the more committed players. That should be a penalty for KCB. Less than 30 seconds on the clock. Arthur Cheng, former Kenya Harlequins player, wondering what's happening in his mind. Maybe a case of, should I have actually left? Have I made a decision? Or like the sort of questions that everyone has when they break up with their girlfriend.
Philip Omai not looking too comfortable there.
He looks like he's proposing to his girlfriend.
Hello. He's proposing how he'll get up. And his brain has finally heard the proposal. The left side talking to the right side, and the coordination lifting him up.
By any far chance that he was trying to propose to the game for a win, I think that has been turned down. And Frank Wanyama, one of the more outstanding players for Kenya Harlequins, leaves the field of play. KCB, Arthur Cheng knocking on the possession, turning it over, and Kenya Harlequins only need to kick the ball out. Final whistle should be coming in, and that is it. That is the final whistle. The 2015 champions of the Christie Sevens tournament, the oldest Sevens tournament in Kenya, are the hosts, Kenya Harlequins. Final score, Kenya Harlequins 19. Kenya Commercial Bank, the defending champions of the National Sevens circuit, have absolutely managed to chalk up all of the figure that looks like an egg, 0.
True indeed, and the result now means that Kenya Harlequin will be seeded first and will be in Pool A for next weekend's Dala Sevens, coming to you from the lakeside city of Kisumu. KCB will be in Pool B, Mwamba will be in Pool C, and Nondis will be in Pool D. We shall get the rest of the draw later on and share it when time allows.
Great rugby action. There's still 4 tournaments left. Next weekend, as my able commentary colleague Mike Wambo stated, we'll be heading onto the Dala Sevens tournament in Kisumu. We will have a break on the 15th and the 16th of August before we proceed to Driftwood, eventually to Nakuru and back to Nairobi. Final score, Kenya Harlequins, the home team, 19. Kenya Commercial Bank, the defending circuit champions, 0. Commiserations, hugs of appreciation there from the coaching staff. Charles Cardovillis in his Robin Hood pants. Not too certain whether he has a band of merry men. Kenya Harlequins have definitely bust a gut. Have had only one real test in the semi-final match against Nondis that went to extra time, but have literally coasted through all the other matches and deserved winners of this tournament. Of course, definitely keeping a business-like approach to the match, doing their warm-down, not getting too phased at the fact that they're the champions, just ensuring that they can tick off all the boxes and retain the level of discipline. Always good to see that to a team that has won a tournament. Just keeping it up to the basics, stretching out, doing the warm-up before they can acknowledge the level of frenzy from the fans.
Indeed, as we see the KCB players probably in a group talk, probably in prayer. Now picture there you can see three of the players, Darwin Mukidza in the black jersey, Jacob Oje, Oliver Mangeni, and Fabian Orlando. You still have to give credit to them reaching the cup final without these players who were key for them last season in winning the overall series.
Because Jacob Oje and Darwin Mukidza, Fabian Orlando have since moved into the Kenya 15 setup. They will not be available for the game this week because they are due to fly out to Namibia for the last match of the Confederation of Action Rugby tournament next week. And of course, you get a feeling that KCB may just be able to just become a different team within the third tournament of the circuit, the Christie Sevens. You can just imagine that becoming very important with Jacob Oje, Darwin Mukidza in their pitch. And of course, I'm certain that Oliver Mangeni and Fabian Orlando, if they are fit, would be considered as part of the players who should be included in the team.
There they are, the victorious team, probably just having a debrief before being let loose to celebrate the win. I'm sure Victor Sudi and company will expect the boys back in training very soon, keeping them focused on the overall prize, the National 7 Series, which, Hillary, I think promises to be very exciting this season, just judging by this opening result.
Definitely indeed, there's still a long mile to move on through. This is not a sprint finish, this is a marathon. The top 4 teams definitely would actually find themselves in a very advantageous position, but there's still a long way to go.
You need to
4
go
points
with that
separating all
camera.
those top 4 teams. There's still
Ule
4
red.
more tournaments. Darwin Mukidza there just chatting with one of the KCB technical bench members.
I go there.
And you get a feeling that there's still a lot more drama set to come within the latter stages of this event
right
this
now.
year.
Definitely, because when you consider a team like Mwamba still without Humphrey Kayange and Collins Injera, they are expected to be back also very soon, as well as the sprinkling of 15 players from across the clubs. I think that once they're back on the circuit with their clubs, we should see a very, very explosive rugby action. But that is to take nothing away from the players who are there right now. They have set the tone for what is going to be a very exciting National 7 Series. But for now, congratulations to Kenya Harlequin for the win. Well-deserved winners of the Christie Sevens, their home tournament.
They have been very imperious, and ensuring that the defending champions do not score any point within the final is also a testament to the fact that they definitely look like they're a different team. More so, especially after the very dismal season that they had last year, they look like they're trying to come back in a very big way. And congratulations to them, commiserations to Kenya Commercial Bank. But you get a feeling that KCB just have a lot more cards deep within their decks, and they should be able to come back.
And that moment again has definitely made it to the top of the pops in terms of the highlights. But that was the opening try. William Mawira turning on the afterburners. And then this moment, when this delivery to Stafford Abeka saw him come under the attentions of Patrice Agunda. This was that moment there when there was a bit of gymnastics there before Stafford Abeka